Let me also, in fact, tell you what has happened since then. What's the status right now? This incident took place on the night of intervening night of 8th and 9th December in the Tawang area of the LAC in Arunachal Pradesh, where the forces of India and China came face to face. Now, what was the defense minister telling us? That he said that the Chinese troops tried to transgress the LAC and unilaterally change the status quo. Essentially, the defense minister in fact coming out and saying that it was an attempted land grab operation by the PLA, by the Chinese army. Now, moving on, in fact, what we also know, ladies and gentlemen, Indian soldiers repulsed the Chinese troops. They pushed them back to their posts. That's what the defense minister says. Now, sources have told NDTV that Indian Air Force is flying active combat air patrols over the Arunachal Pradesh sector. That gives you a sense of the kind of heightened tension there is as far as India and China is concerned. Sources also told NDTV the Indian Air Force has detected enhanced Chinese air activity across the LAC in the Arunachal Pradesh sector, and that's the reason why our Air Force is also quite active here. In fact, the Indian Air Force launched fighter jets 2 to 3 times just last few weeks to prevent airspace violation by the Chinese Air Force. Meanwhile, what we also know, we also have no clarity on the details of the number of troops involved in this scuffle, number of injured, and also the kind of injuries that they have suffered. But the defense minister made it very, very clear that no soldier has lost his life or has been seriously wounded. Apart from this, there is the Indian soldiers, those who are injured, are right now being treated in Guwahati at the Army Base Hospital there. Sources have also told us that so far, there hasn't been any confirmation on the use of tasers, clubs, knuckle dusters, or other such weapons, in this fight that took place between India and China. Though we know that an intense hand-to-hand combat, which resulted in the Indian soldiers pushing the Chinese back to their posts, did take place for a few hours, and this is where a few soldiers have sustained injuries. Now, why is this, happening? It keeps happening in Arunachal Pradesh. We saw what happened in Ladakh as well, in Galwan, where 20 Indian soldiers lost their life as well. There is a difference in perception of the claim lines at few points along the 3,000-kilometer line of actual control that has caused tensions between New Delhi and Beijing. Now, very, very important questions are being raised as far as what government of India is doing at this moment to prevent and, of course, send a message across to China.